welcome to the Soulful Badass podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Jackson, an intuitive success coach from the UK, and I'm here to help entrepreneurs, leaders, and soul-aligned goddesses to create epic levels of success and impact in your life and your business. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you are tuning in every week for mindset talk, manifestation, magic, and incredible interviews with other soul-aligned entrepreneurs. So hit the subscribe button, and I'd love to invite you to come and join the Soulful Badass community. All the links are in the show notes. Please go and click them, and I'll see you in there. Hi everyone, welcome to today's podcast episode. Today I want to talk to you about something that's been coming up a lot with my clients, people in my community, and also it's one of the chapters in the Becoming Unstoppable book. Now, one of the steps in the book is about how to make things really easy. And what I talk about in this chapter is how to start dropping the how. Now, we've been talking about this on the podcast for a couple of weeks, but I want to really bring it back to how simple we can make everything in life and why we need to make it really simple. Because we have normalized this torture that we put ourselves through. We have normalized the way that we live our life, that we need this logic. We need to know all the steps up front. We fear the unknown. We've been trained from a young age to fear the unknown. And I've talked about this in a previous podcast. And if you think about it, we've had this from prehistoric times when, we could have been attacked by a tiger if we'd have went to the watering hole. But now it is more thinking about when you were a child, if you went near anything dangerous, would your mum just let you do it? Or would she go, no, come away from that? So even though you were exploring, you were searching things out, you were putting things in your mouth, you were touching things, you were learning through your senses, at that point you were told to fear the unknown. So you were told that if you touch something, it could be hot, or if you touch something, it was going to hurt, or whatever it was. We're taught this level of fear from a young age, from a point of love. So it always comes from love, but it allows us to learn that there's fear in what we don't know. Now, that's okay if you want to live in the consumer world, if you want to live in the idea of society, how it is, and if you just want to follow all the rules and stay in your box. I know that the people listening to my podcast don't want to stay in a box, want to come here to break the rules, want to come here to rewrite the rules, and want to live out their life purpose no matter what. They are unstoppable, but they have been trained to be stopped. They've been trained to keep stuck, keep small. But it's time to break those rules. It's time to step into your unstoppable energy and make that the real energy that you live from. And this is the thing with the book. It goes through the 7 steps, but this needs to become the energy that you live from. It's not that it's a nice to have. It's not that it's something you do on your best days. It's that you live from this energy. That's how I live my life. And that's how I have literally kept going, becoming unstoppable. So when you think about making things really easy, there's a part of you, I talk about it around this queen energy, the magician energy, that part of you that's connected to your divine self. The part that's connected to that inner knowing, the part that's connected to the divine energy of the universe, that part of you knows exactly how to navigate your life and your dreams. That part of you knows how to make everything so easy without you realizing. But we don't train ourselves to listen to that part of us. We don't train ourselves to listen to that part of our voice that just knows. That doesn't need a 10-step plan. It's happy with a 2-step plan because it knows once it does the 2-step, it'll be able to see the next 10. So today's all about how do you engage that part of you that already knows? How do you really step into that energy and make it easier for yourself? So what I want you to start doing is not think of this as your higher self, not think of this as your queen energy that you need to step into, because it's not anything you need to step into. I do talk about stepping into a lot because it's taken you out of where you currently are. But what you need to do is wear it and wear it every day. It's not about becoming something that you're not. It's about allowing that part of you inside to take over. At the moment, you might be living from your ego mind. So you might be letting your lower vibrational archetypes play out, like your ego, your logician, your prostitute, your victim mindset. They might be the ones running the show. Your inner child might be the one running your business currently. But what you need to adopt is that version, this real you version, the version that knows, the version that's connected, your queen, your magician, your sage, all those parts of you that have that inner knowing. They are the real you. They are the you that you were here long before and that you were born into, long before you learn all of these bullshit rules, long before you learn all this fear, long before you learn all the limitations. They were you. They are the core of you. That is the real you. So when you get a glimpse of it and you feel really amazing, that's because that is how you are meant to feel. The other stuff that you feel generally, if it pulls you down, you have been trained to be pulled down. That is not the real you. That is the learned behavior. That is the conditioning. So what we've got to start adopting is this real you inside. So what is the real you? Get into a practice, call her forward every morning. Call that energy of you at your most powerful, most confident, most unstoppable self, the self that has everything you ever desired. What are they living like? What is their life like? What is their energy like? What do they think like? And start bringing that energy forward of the morning and wearing it, keeping it on. If it drops, bring it back. Use that energy to get used to you acting as the real you, because you need to start running your business, running your life from this part of you, from this whole part of you that knows you are unlimitless. You can figure everything out. You don't need all the next steps, but what is the next step she will take? What is the next step she knows is right in her heart? And like I talk about in the book, you get this zing, you get this tuning fork going off inside your body going, this feels good. Everything else outside of that can be figured out. You don't need to know all of the next steps. And just to put this into context, when I was launching, and I've talked about this on the podcast, but when I was launching the Miraculous Success Academy this year, which is my mastermind that I run for entrepreneurs, I was launching that earlier on in the year, and I asked the real me, what is my next step in this? And what really come through was to do a 7-day challenge. And the message was that it wasn't really about MSA at all. It wasn't about launching MSA, but this challenge was this thing that I really needed to do and put out. And the reason I needed to do the challenge was because that challenge was then meant to be the book. And that was the clear message. So instead of going, oh, well, that's not going to work because I'm launching MSA at the moment. So how is me doing a challenge that's going to go into a book really going to affect Miraculous Success Academy? I didn't do all of that overthinking. I didn't do all the thinking of how am I going to get it into a book? Where am I going to get the publisher? What's this going to look like? All the things that you want to understand before you start. So what I did was I just wrote down my 7 steps to success. I got them on a piece of paper and I started recording the videos. And the next week they were out, all planned in the diary, just followed what it was coming through and got it out there. I didn't allow my logician to come in and say, well, this isn't the right way to do it, or it needs to be called this, or it needs to be called that, or, you know, who's going to do this, and all of the things that it likes to tell me. I just got the intuition and did it. And the real me come through and said, this is your next step. Now, since that challenge that I did in January, I kind of stalled my energy and then kind of got into the, well, what's next? What am I doing next? I got into the motion of running Miraculous Success Academy and being a little bit lost in the other things. And I got a bit disconnected from doing the book, probably until about June, July time. And then I was like, I'm going to an exhibition in November, and I really want my book to be ready. And I connected in with the real me. And it was, get your book done. And it kept coming up, write the book, write the book. I kept seeing it everywhere. I kept seeing it on TikTok videos. I kept seeing it absolutely everywhere, write the book. So I got in this mindset of, let's do it. Let's write the book. I don't even know where the name Becoming Unstoppable come from. I can't remember the reasoning behind it. I can't remember my thinking. It's kind of went out my head now. But from this book, it's really set emotion in place. Becoming Unstoppable is going to be like this whole life that's taken over. Now I've created in the space of a month after putting the book out, it's also allowed me to create the affirmation cards. It's also allowed me to create an app that I'm working on at the moment that's coming very soon. It's also in my mind seeing this real revolution of women that are here to make a massive difference. And this has all stemmed from me just connecting in with the real me. Now, if somebody had said to me at the beginning of the year, there's going to be a different kind of branding, there's going to be a different kind of name that's coming through that's like emotion and a momentum coming out of you. And I'd be like, well, no, I've got Soulful Badass. That's my brand. That's my empire. I wouldn't have thought of all of the things that are coming out the back of Becoming Unstoppable. But actually, Becoming Unstoppable is taking on its own life force that isn't me. It's taken on something else. It's something else that was meant to be put out into the world. And I wasn't meant to know about all of that because I would have worried. I would have went, well, how's that going to work with Soulful Badass? And how's that going to work with this? And how's it going to work with that? And do I really want to do it this way? I would have got into all the hows and the whys and all of those things rather than letting each step just unfold and unfold and unfold till it becomes the thing that it really is meant to be, the thing that I was meant to bring to the world. And I'm in the middle of that now. I'm letting it unfold. So the app wasn't something I decided to do. You know, I've wanted an app for years. But in that week, I got the opportunity to look at an app interface. I then got the opportunity of the funds coming in to pay for that. And I was like, right, I'm not going to second guess this. I'm just going to take the action. So it was really about, I don't need to know the reason why all of the time. I don't really need to know the reason of why something comes into my path at that time. I've just got to trust that it does. And once this motion is set in place, I see the next step. So writing the book was, well, doing the success challenge was the first step. Writing the book was the second. The next thing that's come on to me, designing affirmation cards within a month. And now they're going to be available for you to get your hands on, which really support the book, which is amazing. And now it's allowed me to create an app, which again support the affirmation cards and also is a membership that's going to be available to people. So it's really building this momentum. But if I'd have started thinking, right, well, this membership is going to be huge and then it's going to become an app and it's going to be this and it's going to be that, I would have got really stuck in the, how am I going from a 7-day success challenge to having an app with a membership on? My mind would have frazzled. But I didn't need to know those details. I didn't need to know the how of any of those details. What I just needed to do was do the next thing. I just needed to do the success challenge. I just needed to do the book. And when I stalled on the book, I kept seeing the signs, write the book, write the book, write the book. And you'll be seeing these same signs and you'll be allowing your ego self to come in and tell you it's not the right thing. But if you're seeing it over and over again, or you're feeling it over and over again, and like I talk about, if you've got that niggle, that's the bit you need to act on. You don't need to worry about the other things. The real you knows every single step it needs to take. The real you opens the next door for you. You don't need to worry about having the right key or unlocking that door. You just need to take the next step and then the door unlocks. It really is that simple. It's like a video game. Soon as you get to the end of one level, the next level unlocks. Get to the end of that level, the next level unlocks. You do not need to know how to get through level 5 before you've started level 1. If you do that, you're going to spend all your time researching and not actually playing the game. And this is what we're doing. We're researching, we're theorizing in our minds, but it's all the wrong information. You're never going to know how it feels until you pick up that control and face whatever it is you're going to face in level 1 or level 5 until you're doing it. So you've really got to stop worrying about having this full-time plan and go, what is my next thing? Because sometimes we want the perfect thing and we want it to be absolutely amazing. But when you do that, you're missing out your learning opportunity. The thing that you're meant to do next, the universe manifests everything for you that you need to give you the up level. So you are going to get the next best thing that's going to up level you ready for the amazing thing that you've asked for. So at each stage, things get better and better and better. So often we get an opportunity and it's an amazing opportunity, but then you want the bigger next thing. It's like sometimes you've got to do that in order to get the bigger next thing. It's like when I started my business, I was talking about manifesting to everybody. And it took me talking about manifesting to everybody, to women at every level, before I could understand that actually I'm really passionate about helping women make their own money. So what that led to was me helping entrepreneurs, because I'm passionate about women having money in their hands. But when I was talking about manifesting and spirituality to everybody, I was getting lost in more of the spirituality and people wanting to know how to connect with their intuition or connect with guides and angels and those types of things. And I wasn't really delivering what I wanted to do. But if I hadn't started there, I wouldn't have known that that was not really what I wanted to do. So I had to get started in order to figure these things out. Now I know that I'm here to help women have money on their terms, which means often having a business. So that's where the entrepreneurship really comes into its own. So I needed to start my business. I needed to start trying things, start putting them on. And my real me was showing me the steps that I needed to do. And it showed me the steps to start talking about manifesting. It showed me the steps to start talking about spirituality. It showed me the people to work with at that time so that I could figure out who I wanted to work with down the line. So if you're sat in the indecision phase, if you're sat in this place of, I just don't know, you're probably looking too far ahead. You're looking too far in advance and getting lost in the anxiety of it. Connect back in with the real you, connect back in with you who knows. Go to that place on your timeline, that the version of you that has everything you ever desired. Sit with that energy and ask that person what your next step is. Because that's the real you. That's you connecting to your inner voice. That's you connecting to your intuition and you actually deciding this is how I move forward. Now, if you do want to work with me on this, I am bringing out a Become Unstoppable coaching package, which we can work together one-on-one. We can tap into this energy and we can really explore what the real you is telling you and get her running your business. But there is so many ways you can start to do that. You've just got to start tuning into this energy and trust that you know every step, because you really do. So if you haven't got yet the book, I suggest you get a copy, read it, have a look at this chapter, which is all about making things easy. It's one of the steps in the book, and it is absolutely incredible to get out of the way of this conditioned mindset that you have adopted over the years. That is not the real you. You might cling on to it like an identity, like this is who I am, but it's not who you are. The real you really wants to come out and showcase what you can do. So it's time to let her. It's time to let her out. It's time to let her run the show. It's time to stop sitting in this ego mindset, sitting in your lack, sitting in your limitation, because you are here for so much more and you are here to create a legacy. So please don't let the made-up version of you tell you anything different, because the real you knows your power. And that's the version you just need to start to step into. You need to become, you need to allow her to take over, because she's in there, she's in your heart, she's the one that keeps niggling you, she's the one that keeps pushing you forward, she's the one that keeps making you feel uncomfortable because it's saying you're not on the right path. That's why she's making you feel uncomfortable. So let the real you talk and see how good life can be. because it's ready and waiting for you. And you're just ready to become unstoppable yourself. So please come and connect with me, share with me what this podcast has brought up for you, and have the most amazing week. And I will catch you soon. Bye.